Thank you so much for having me. My name is Teresa Drecala-Peyster, and I'm from Tuvalu, which is the fourth smallest country in the world. I am currently blessed to be here through the Edmund Center, which is where I'm carrying out my internship through the Women's Leadership Initiative program. The reason is scientists have predicted that my country will be uninhabitable by 2050, and that is the fear that we live with every day. The fear of our country being annihilated from the face of the planet because of the adverse impacts of climate change. So the adverse impacts of climate change in the form of sea level rise, catastrophic tropical cyclones, even drought seasons. This is the new normal for us, and even king tides. The rising level of king tides nowadays. This might seem scary, but the generation in Tuvalu now sees this as normal. And I want to put an end to this normality. I want to be able to see our future generation live in a sustainable environment for all Tuvaluans. I was brought up in Fiji, but Tuvalu has been home for the last 6 years. In those 6 years, I've actually witnessed king tides, extreme king tides, and it has actually risen to the level of where I used to work, my office. I would open the door and I'd have to wait for the waters to recede, and then I would be able to go home. So yes, the impacts are real. But not only that, Tuvalu has faced catastrophic tropical cyclones. I remember this Cyclone Par, and it did not directly affect the capital, but other islands were also heavily impacted by this. Yes, there's a fear of houses constantly getting flooded. Not only houses, but this also spoils motorbikes and other motor vehicles. But motorbikes are the mode of transportation in Tuvalu, and usually sometimes if people do not know that king tides will happen that afternoon, and then so it leads to rusting and eroding of all property, especially near that area. Yes, they are. People might not know it as climate change, but they know the impacts, and they can actually tell you about the impacts, the changes, especially our older generation. The term climate change is fairly new, but its impacts have been witnessed by our generation, the generation before us, and they can actually tell you the difference, not only with receding shorelines, but also with the sustainability of our resources. Yes, the Port Vila Call was an initiative by the government of Tuvalu and Vanuatu, and now other countries have signed up and joined this call. This is a movement that is actually requesting and asking for non-proliferation of fossil fuels. So it's not no more new coal mines, but it's no coal mines at all. I honestly didn't think that Australia had any climate change policies, to be honest. I know that they have climate change targets, but I feel that these targets are unreasonable, and at the rate that they're continually endorsing the opening of new coal mines, I don't see this happening at all. And I don't think it's fair that they would like to collaborate with us or call themselves the Pacific Brothers when they're not actually acting in a very brotherly manner. I honestly don't know much about net zero, and I honestly think the concept of net zero to be used as a mitigation or adaptation tactic to combat the impacts of climate change is another strategy that Australia is using to continue with its current actions, which is burning more coal, opening more coal mines. And it's actually a term that they've coined for us not to actually understand it, so that they can get away with things like burning more coal and opening more coal mines. I will say that the current initiatives have been great. I mean, seeing the foreign minister herself travel to, I think, all of the Pacific Island countries, that's a good initiative. But I would also like to see more. Talks are good because it shows that, there's planning, there's people trying to come together and negotiate, but we're done talking. We don't have time on our hands, and I would like to see more from there, and more would look like more towards climate finance, and this is direct accessible funds, not only towards governments or government agencies, not only towards verified and NGOs, but this is so that it would be able to reach communities and those that are driving impacts, community-led initiatives. So an example would be the Kyoto Declaration that was recently, the meeting that was recently held in Kyoto is trying to establish a finance mechanism for communities in the Pacific to have access to it, contextualized to the setting of the Pacific. So I would like to see Australia have something similar for the Pacific. So I'm interested in the sustainability of Tuvalu, not only our resources, but also our expertise, especially our own people who have the knowledge who actually came to study. And I would like to see that stay in Tuvalu as well. The reason I went into this space, as I mentioned, is because of the fear of our country being annihilated. But while we're still living and breathing, it's the social inclusion of all vulnerable groups and their development. That's why I mostly work with the non-government organizations and strengthening this. So I'm really passionate around the sustainability of all Tuvaluans in every area, especially the vulnerable groups. A call for action that I would see right now would be everyone signing up to the Port Vila call on the non-proliferation of fossil fuels, and also supporting our stance on this, because to be honest, the Paris Agreement 1.5 is a gift that we all came to, and if we continue to be emitting emissions more than 1.5 or even at 1.5, then I would not like to give in to the fear of what scientists have predicted, that truly Tuvalu may be uninhabitable by 2050. Oh, well, me personally, as a Pacific Islander from Tuvalu, I would like to see Australia take on more action. No more fossil fuels. If they truly say that they're part of the Pacific family, then they should actually really walk the talk and start treating us like family members, because family members don't open coal mines to burn other family members.
Thanks for watching. Visit australiainstitute.org.au for all our latest research, commentary and analysis, as well as details for upcoming events and webinars.